Welcome to a brand new week of Student of the Gun Radio. I am your host, Paul Markle. Thank you for joining me today. Joining me in the satellite studio is Jared. Say hello, Jared.
Hello, Jared.
Hey, you washed your new Lauer custom weaponry shirt.
Yeah.
I was wearing mine yesterday.
Bang, 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 bang. Click, click, click.
Zachary.
Hi.
I'm not going to ask you what you're wearing because you don't have a camera. Or you do have a camera.
Kind of. It doesn't work right
You
now.
kind of have a camera, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work because you don't ever turn it on. Is that
Correct. That's basically it. Wait, watch this.
What are we watching?
There's a little ASMR for you guys. Jared cracked open his can. Is that ASMR?
All right. Well, let's go ahead and do the opening music, and then I have a clarification and an apology to make to my audience. Bow, bow.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Yes, indeedy do. All right. I have an apology. Before Jared and I went on our trip, I typed in open carrier. I typed in, concealed carry. But the point is I didn't go to the NRAILA.org website. I took whatever was the top search, and that was wrong of me. And so what I'm going to say is so you cannot open carry in Minnesota. In Mississippi you can. In Minnesota without a permit. If you have to have a permit to have a handgun attached to your body in Minnesota, whether it's concealed or unconcealed.
Yep.
Now, it's different in South Dakota. South Dakota's constitutional. Wyoming's constitutional, and Wisconsin is good to go, but Minnesota is not. So there you go. And if you guys would like to, before you go on a trip or a journey or whatever, and you want to check the laws in the state that you're going to travel to, go to nraila.org. .org. Click on the hamburger, and it says gun laws by state. And if you don't know what the hamburger is because you're not a developer, it's the three little lines up in the corner that's by the menu. And
it looks like a hamburger.
Yeah, that's called, developers call that a hamburger. Yes, indeed. I didn't know what that was until Jared hit me and said a hamburger, and I'm like, what the perfect nougat are you talking about?
Yeah, so, go to the hamburger menu. And you're like, what?
Or what?
Do I get lettuce and tomato and stuff, or no?
Yep. So there you go. And they even have a reverse search thing where you can check to see if your permit is not only if their permit is good in your state, but if your permit is good in their state. Mm-hmm. It's a reverse reciprocity search. You just go and what's really nice about the NRA's website is if you go to the state by state, there's an entire map of the United States, and you can just scroll over the state you want to go to, click it, and it takes you right there. So, yes, it's good stuff. And what you're looking for in the gun law overviews is you're looking for no's. No's are good. Yeses are bad. Like permit to purchase, no. Registration of firearms, no. Licensing of gun owners, no. Permit to carry, no. That's what you're looking for. If any of those things say yes, then you're not going to a free state. You're going to some place that is run by communists. Like, for instance, California, under almost every one of those questions, it's yes, 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 yes. Not 100%, but most of them are yeses. Yeah. And then in New York, permit to purchase, yes. Registration of firearms, yes. Licensing of handgun owners, yes. Yes. So, all right. So that is my clarification. I hope you can forgive me. If you cannot forgive me, then I totally understand. And you can just go and do whatever you want to do. All right. We've got a SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week questione. And it's a good one. It's very pertinent. And the boys put it in the show notes. I'm not sure from whence it came.
It was a write-in question.
So, a write-in question.
Yeah,
okay.
We got it from an email. Somebody sent that
From
to us.
electronic mail
Electronic mail over the internet, interwebs.
on the World Wide Web.
Yes. So I'll go ahead and play the music.
Are you
and
sure it
then-
wasn't the intraweb?
No, that's totally different. It was the information superhighway.
Yeah, that one. And we're going to hit the music, and then Jared will tell you what you need to do and all that good stuff.
If you hear your question if you hear your voice or you hear your question read, then just send an email to info@studentofthegun.com. Include your name, your mailing address, your email, and your phone number in that email, please.
In the body of the email.
In the
That's right.
body of the email, the mailing
Makes it
address.
easier.
We need the mailing address to get your SWAT Fuel 9mm plus P to you. This question is from Teddy. He says, Dear Professor Paul, with all this talk of defunding police departments and disbanding police, what would the steps be if an armed citizen had to use lethal force or even less than lethal against an attacker or a home invader? Keep up the good work.
All right. We got our attack dog there in the satellite studio. Number one, and I know this is going to sound super whorish, but this is not the first time I've received this question. Matter of fact, I've gotten this question many times. And one of the things that we did, collective we, is that we put together this thing called the Armed Living DVD. And it is available. Now you say, well, I don't have a DVD player anymore. I just use Netflix. No, it's a digital video download. It comes directly to you. That's right. Number one, you need to understand the legality, ability, opportunity, and intent. And obviously if someone kicks in your front door, that is pretty much all of those right there. You don't have to stop and read them a chapter of The Purpose-Driven Life or, dialogue with them and ask them how they're feeling today and so forth. If someone invades your home, you have the right as a citizen of the United States of America, as a citizen of the world. Now, I know there are countries and places that try to tell you, but this is one of those inalienable rights that was granted to you by your creator. And if you don't understand that, unfortunately, people don't understand that. Number one, anytime you use anything, whether it's lethal or less than lethal, let's say somebody comes up on your porch and they're like, hey, blah, 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 and they're banging on your front door and you're like, fornicate away. And they're like, no, I refuse to fornicate away. And so you do what I said, and you walk over and you pick up your can of liquid death bear spray, and you pop open your door and you go whoosh, and you help and encourage them to fornicate in a different direction. And after you bathe them in the oleoresin capsicum, which is a gift to us from our maker, from God, they will fornicate into a different direction, right? Now he's like, okay, rock on, go team. No, you still need to make a phone call. All right.
I think that's where the question's coming in, because he said the talk of defunding police departments and disbanding police. So if that happens, then what's the after step?
You just call them.
Well, I mean, now we're talking like, okay, so if there is, let's go ahead and go Mad Max. All right, if we're talking Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome stuff, like there are no police, then we got all right, barbed wire, razor wire, sandbags, watchtowers,
there's the problem.
leather pants, machetes, if there's like no law enforcement at all, then that's when you should be reading the Patriot Fire Team manual, and you need to have the help of your community members. Now, if it's one of these situations where the police are like now, like during the great pandemic, when the police say that when they put out a memo saying, hey, P.S., we're not coming for the following things, or just write us a letter and let us know about it, and then after the pandemic is over, then I don't know. We'll do something. After we're done releasing all the felons from the prisons, we'll do something. So yeah, I mean, you know, if you're rock on like complete and total anarchy, then bro, you're gonna have to get together with your neighbors and form a neighborhood watch with black rifles. That's what you're gonna have. You're gonna have essentially a neighborhood watch, only minus the, you know, the sad thing about the neighborhood watch program is they're like, we're going to do a neighborhood watch program. And you're like, yeah. I remember when I was in Detroit and they formed a neighborhood watch program in Detroit and they were recruiting members and they recruited my dad. But one of the things is no one on the neighborhood watch is allowed at any time to have any kind of weapon on them. And back then there were no cell phones, so they were issued portable radios. They might have even been using CB radios at the time. They might have been using CB radios, and that was their tool to fight crime. Was they would go out 2 by 2 like Noah's Ark, and walk around with little portable radios, or they would drive around with CB radios, and that was the neighborhood watch, right? Now this is when you say, well, what if like the gangbangers didn't appreciate them watching them and decided to jack them? Like, well, get on the radio and call for help, and somebody will come eventually. So good resources for you guys is the Armed Living DVD and the Patriot Fire Team Manual. If you've not availed your Patriot Fire Team Manual, I guess I never put it that way, but essentially it's like the neighborhood watch, only this time they're carrying rifles. Neighborhood watch with rifles. That's what the Patriot Fire Team is. Neighborhood watch with body armor, rifles, and med kits. And that, you know, that's something I guess that's worth noting. Jared, do you realize that when I was a kid and my dad was working with all these other neighborhood watch volunteers, not one person said, hey, do we have trauma kits? And they're like, what are you talking about? You're like, well, people in 1978 didn't bleed to death. That's a new thing. People only started bleeding to death recently. You're like, no, actually. But we've come so far. I mean, we should be at the pinnacle of human development right now because we have so much more experience and information. And then on the other hand, we have this, thanks to the World Wide Web and the information superhighway, I believe, we have this complete disconnect from reality. Now, there's a story that we're going to talk about. Maybe you guys have already seen it. We're going to talk about it during the grad program about the psycho Antifas in Seattle running out of food. So they just decided they could dump a bunch of topsoil in somebody's, like, in a yard. They just found like a grass yard and threw a bunch of topsoil on it, and then like took plants and tried to shove them in the topsoil. And they're like, all right, we're going to have food tomorrow. Yeah, you are. Because that's how that works. You just go out in your backyard, open up a bag of topsoil, throw it out, and you're like, okay, and go to Home Depot and get a starter plant and shove it in the 2 inches of topsoil, and then tomorrow you'll have food. Well, no, not tomorrow, but like in a couple days. A couple of days we'll have.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how that works.
A couple of months, maybe.
Yeah, in just a few days, maybe a week, you're going to have all the food you need. Or not. So, yeah, on one hand, we have all this experience and education and information available to us. And on the other hand, we have these distraction tools, our phones and all that just basically push us away from. We have one segment. This is where we are in America today. We have one segment of the population that is more attached to reality, like what happens when people like bleed to death and so forth, and than ever before. And then you have another segment that is more detached from physical reality than ever before. That believes that their feelings will grow them food, and their feelings will eliminate crime and poverty and evil from the world. I watched it. So I don't know how I saw it. It was a video, and this woman in Portland, Oregon. I guess Portland is next. If Seattle
Keep
fell,
Portland
Portland's
weird.
next.
That's their
So in Portland,
thing.
she's these cops are standing there, and she's videoing them with their phone, right? Because that's what you do, and they're just standing there, and they're looking at her. She's a Karen, right? And they're like, how come every time we talk to you, you immediately resort to name calling? And they're real calm about it. They're just like, it's like you're talking to a 5-year-old. And she's like, is it against the law? Is it against the law to insult a person in blue? Whatever, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, whatever, Karen. And so she starts screaming, like wailing, screaming. And then she starts pointing at them saying, I want them arrested.
What?
Yes. So the I hate the cops, Karen in Portland, wants them arrested.
By who?
That's what I'm like, by whom, Karen? Do you want them or you want social workers to come and arrest them or guidance counselors or gender sensitivity training? And I mean, what?
So if you're an armed citizen and there are no police, then it's a little bit different.
Yeah, if you're an armed citizen and there are no police, you're on your own. You better have, and you're not going to be able to do it on your own. That's the main thing that we've been trying to drive home for years is this mongoloid mentality that I am going to be the last man standing. No, you're not, because you're human and you have to sleep and you have to eat. And if you're walking around on rifle patrol all day long, 24 hours a day, who's getting the fuel? Who's providing the food? Who's, whatever. Like, oh, my wife's going to do all that. I married a squaw. She's going to get all the firewood and do all the food and everything. No, and if you're offended by that, you can suck it. So get the Patriot Fire Team Manual if you haven't. Patriot Fire Team Manual, look at it like this. It's neighborhood watch with rifles. Okay? How do we... I'm going to write that down right now because that's a pretty genius description on my part.
It's not neighborhood watch. It's neighborhood defense because neighborhood watch is just watching for things.
Yeah, I know, but people know what neighborhood watch is. Stick with me. All right. Jared, do you want to thank the top contributors?
Yeah.
You want to do?
Yeah, Student of the Gun Public Group. I'm pulling from the top contributors of the Facebook group because I can see that data. And so number 10 is Alan Blake. 9 is Jeremiah Mason. 8, Steve Pergantis. 7, Derek Babcock. 6 is Melissa Ridings. 5 is Adam Montgomery. 4 is Andrew Ketz. 3, Daniel Larson. 2 is Andrew Reinert. And number 1 is Trent Wood. Really appreciate you guys taking the time and effort to post and comment in the Student of the Gun Public group. If you're not part of it, go join it. There's a couple of questions just to make sure you're not a bot and you're actually a human being. Answer those questions, and then you'll be good to go.
Bibbidi bot bot bot. All right. Thank you to our friend Century Arms, the sweetest mill and arms maker in the U.S. of A. Check them out at centuryarms.com. Duracoat, because life is
too short to have an ugly gun.
Yes.
Because life is bang, 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 click, click, click.
Yeah, life's too short to have an ugly gun. And here's what I'm planning to do. I looked at the weather forecast, and the weather forecast for where I am this weekend says wind and rain. Chances of wind and rain all weekend. So I'm going to make lemonade. I'm going to make ballistic lemonade. And I believe I'm going to put my Duracoat University skills to work out there in the garage. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I went and got that super secret tiger stripe tool that Steve told us about.
Yep.
I went and got some of that yesterday.
Oh,
We're not
nice.
going to tell you guys what it is because you got to go to the university if you want to know the secrets.
Yep.
If you want to know ancient Chinese secret, you got to go to the school. But I picked that up, and I got my badass finishes and got my mask and all. Yeah, that's the one thing. If you do not have a ventilator system, like a what a spray booth with a ventilator that sucks all the stuff out. You need to wear a filtered mask, not an N95 dust mask. No, that's not good enough. You need to wear an actual mask with the removable, changeable filters. Okay, a painter's mask,
Yes.
a legit. You ever seen guys in a body shop painting cars, and they're all done up, and they have the mask on and the goggles
Yeah,
and
it's a
all
legit
that?
respirator.
Yeah, a respirator mask. That's what you need. A dust mask is not. You're just. Oh, you're just. What can I can't say.
Self-gratifying.
Yeah, you're just self-gratifying. If you're fapping.
Now that is an aughts word. I have not heard the word fap since
Oh.
freaking 2011.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
it's an old one.
All right, so Duracoat firearm finishes is where you want to go because you do not want to have an ugly gun. That is the end of that story. And today is the 15th, according to the calendar on the wall. And that means that we need to, if you are a super cool dude and you participated in the Badass Finish Challenge, check your mail or your messages or whatever to see if you are the winner. And you have 24 hours to notify. Once we tell you that congratulations, you're the winner of the Badass Challenge, you have 24 hours to respond. And if you don't, we're going to pick another winner. So, but most of you guys who are in the Badass Challenge, you're all dedicated people anyway, and you pay attention. So that shouldn't be a big deal. Crossbreed holsters. They want you to be dangerous on demand. I'm dangerous on demand right now because I'm wearing the Reckoning holster on my body at this very moment in time. And you're like, well, what are you wearing? I'm wearing the G48. G, that's a 48. Yes, it is. G, that's a 48. It's a G-Lock 48. And I'm wearing it right now. The G-Lock 48 is probably, it's that best of both worlds kind of gun, or best of three worlds, or whatever. I mean, it's a striker fired 9mm. It's big enough to fight with, but it's not too, it's not so compact that you can't handle it, or, it's perfect. I had somebody tell me yesterday that they picked up a used 9mm handgun that had only been fired like 10 times or whatever, because the owner said it was just too much for him. And I said, did the owner have arthritis? Or?
It might have had some kind of wrist condition.
Yeah, and it was a full-size pistol. It wasn't like a little mini pocket 9. Now, if you're talking about a mini pocket 9, it's like, ow.
That's a different story. Yeah.
Yeah, ow, bang, ow, bang, ow. That's shooting. A super compact 9 goes like this: bang, ow, bang, ow. Ooh. Okay, that's good enough. I know it works. That's reminiscent of. I was talking to this gentleman, and he was telling me about how the guy gave him he bought the pistol, and had 2 boxes of ammo, and there were 10 rounds missing out of the box, and it came in the original box and everything. The guy bought it, shot 10 rounds, put it in a closet, and never shot it again. And that's reminiscent of going to a gun shop and buying a Smith & Wesson 44 mag, because every time you go to buy a used 44 in a gun shop, they always say, oh, and here's the original box of ammo. Here's the box of ammo that came with it. It's a green Remington 44 box, and you slide it out, and you open up the styrofoam tray,
And there's
and
6 missing.
there are 6 empty shells, because they took them out and they put them back in.
Yeah.
So there are 6 empty shells in the box of 44 mag, because what the guy did is he watched, Clint Eastwood, and he's like, I gotta have one of those, and he bought it, and he loaded it full of 6, and he fired all 6, and he's like, okay.
I got my fix. I'm done now.
Yeah, the gun works. All right, now I know the gun works. And then, 5 years later, 10 years later, he's like, I haven't shot that gun in 10 years. I might as well just sell it, get some money. That is so quintessential used, and here's the ammo. And what's funny, Jared, I was at I was at the Cook's Gun Shop in Biloxi, and he had one of those. It was a blue steel Smith and Wesson. It was a Model 29, and
Blue
he
steel,
said,
like the look.
yeah, and he reached under and he says, "Oh, and here's the ammo that the guy bought with it." And the box was like 3 box designs ago. You know how like filmmakers every like 3 or 4 years or 5 years will change the design of the box?
Yeah.
It was the box from 1999. Oh, man. All right. So Crossbreed Holsters want you to be dangerous on demand. Use their promo code SOTG18. I'm sorry, 18. SOTG18. You're going to save yourself some money. You'll be a happy camper. If you want to buy ammo or scopes or rings or pieces or parts or actual guns even, you can go to brownells.com right now, this very moment in time. Check those guys out. See what they have that's on sale, that is, a special that they're promoting. Like right now, they're promoting Sierra bullets for reloaders. They are promoting Sinclair International products. Oh, they've got ammo in stock from Hornady. And then, of course, they've got their sales, markdowns, and clearance. If you want a gun person life hack, every once in a while, go to the sales, markdowns, and clearance on brownells.com. Because they get in a version 3.0, and so they put the version 2.0 on sale, and most of the time, all the time, it's a perfectly good product. There's just a new one. And if you don't care about new and improved Tide, if you just want something that works, then bing, bang, boom, you're good to go. So check that out. All right, and sign up for their newsletter. All right, it's time for Zach to remind you new listeners, and even you old listeners, what you need to do.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Do that. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything that you need. What is going on with the Legion of Michael training and the book? That is an excellent question. And I'm glad that you...
The NSA doesn't care. They just decided to interrupt his stream and make him go slow. So there, he's catching up now. So there we go. The NSA didn't want you to talk about Legion of Michael.
All right. So Legion of Michael is our dedicated professional church security training program. And we do this via distance learning. And right now, Jared, I actually do want you to tell everybody if they're interested, where should they go and what should they do?
Go to legionofmichael.com. If enrollment for the course is open, you will be able to sign up. If it is closed, you join the VIP list. And when it's open again, you will be the first to be notified.
Yep. So, yeah, just click the enroll now. And this is if enrollment is closed, please just put in your name and email address, click it and submit it. And the minute that enrollment is open, you'll be notified. In addition to the online distance learning, we also do a live Q&A session with me. We do live Q&A sessions via, is it Zoom?
Yep, last Wednesday of every month.
Yep, last Wednesday of every month we do a live Q&A session. So if you're going through the program, you're like, please write down questions and so on and so forth. Now, we have something that's kind of exciting. I promised you guys this, and I want to make sure that you know that I will make good on my promises. Right now, currently, if you enroll in the Legion of Michael course, there you can choose to add either the Faith and the Patriot book or the Intolerant Christian book, or if you like reading, you can choose them both. You can select them both and order them. But what I think we're going to do, and I think would be a great idea for the future, is to add an option. Because I know a lot of people, especially people who have been in the audience for a long time, already have the Faith and the Patriot book. They already have the Intolerant Christian book. And they're like, okay, I have all those. I wanted this training, but I don't really need another copy of those books that I already have. How would you like to have a Legion of Michael book? An actual Legion of Michael book? And my boys, yes, I'm not going to do this, but my boys, what they can do is they can add an option. So if you sign up for the Legion of Michael training, that you can actually select the Legion of Michael paperback book to add to your. Yes.
We'll probably just, that'll probably just come standard with the training.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a good idea.
That's actually something that people asked me about a while ago, and they're like, and I said, okay, yeah, I don't have anything else to do. No, the truth is, I was working on 3 books at one time, and the Legion of Michael book is now done. So I'm not working on that book anymore. It's called Legion of Michael, Defending the Flock, a comprehensive manual for protecting houses of worship. This is a detailed book, and the great thing about this book, I'm going to tell you, is if you are in one of these many people who are in a position where you are the leader and you're trying to help your flock protect itself, right? And you've approached maybe the board of elders or the deacons or the pastor or whatever at your church, and you're like, hey, we should have a church security program. We should have a church security team. And some of you have been hit with we have a church policy that says no one's allowed to bring a gun into church. And you're like, oh, well, great. Then we don't need anything else. Thank you very much. I know, of course you don't. You're like, probably need a little more than that. Or you're on the opposite end of the spectrum where you're living in free America, and you bring up the idea of having a church security team, and they say, oh, no, it's cool. We don't need one because anybody who wants to can bring a gun to church. They can wear one. You're like, okay, I'm with you. But carry a gun to church is not the same as dedicated, watchful security people. Not the same thing. So what I have done is I've compiled, almost 30 years worth of professional. Yeah. Oh, holy 30. Jared, it's been 34 years since I attended my first professional security bodyguard training school.
That is older than me.
That's why I got all this on my face.
Now you dye that gray.
Before 34 years. So yeah, 30 plus years of education, training, and experience as a professional security provider, bodyguard, all that jazz, whatever label you want to put on it, is put into this book. So it's called Legion of Michael, Defending the Flock, a comprehensive manual for protecting houses of worship. You get the book, and you go to your deacons, elders, pastors, whatever, and you say, we should do this. And they're like, I don't know. And you say, I already actually have a plan. I have a step-by-step plan to establish a church security team.
In fact, it's printed out, and it's right here in my hand. And
we
can go over it right now.
Yeah, and they say, oh, but Christians aren't allowed to use force to protect themselves. And you're like, au contraire, mon frère. You're like, really? Who said that? Because it wasn't Pope John Paul II that said that. That's not in the Lutheran Catechism. Matter of fact, in the Lutheran Catechism, it says the exact opposite of what you're saying. So where are you getting your information from, Jack? See, a lot of people get this information from their feelings. Like the feeling that I can plant tomatoes and tomorrow I will be eating them. The feeling that I want a police officer arrested by someone. I don't know who's going to do it, but that's interesting. I'd like to be a fly on the wall, okay. So yeah, that is what is going on with Legion of Michael right now. I wanted to let you guys know. I know a lot of you guys have been wondering where we are with the program, and in this last year, we've really put a lot of thought and time and effort into creating a step-by-step, very deliberate, purposeful, easy to explain, easy to understand church security program. So, And you don't have, and you can apply this to your synagogue too. Pew pew Jew. Pew pew. We need to get our pew pew Jew friend back on the radio soon.
We do. Yeah.
We do. We need to find out what's going on with JPFO. That's not like.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
and
and
what you call it?
It's not like LMFAO.
Yeah. But if you guys are viewers of Yehuda's channel, if you're not, go follow him, and he posts some funny stuff. And if you are, let him know, hey, Student of the Gun guys want to bring you back on. So when I contact him, he'll be like, hey, I already know. He'll text me and say, hey, I got this message. Hey. What? I'm like, okay.
Well, it's like when I wear my Talking Lead T-shirt to work out, people text Marty.
Oh yeah.
They're like, Paul's wearing the Talking Lead shirt to work out.
That's funny. It helps him lift more.
Hey, I heard you were wearing my shirt while you were lifting. Yeah, I was. All right. So when I first saw this story, I thought, oh, I've already seen it.
Yeah, I thought this was the one that we already talked about.
Au contraire, mon frère. The first one was in Pennsylvania. This one is in the glorious People's Republic of Maryland, more specifically in Baltimore County. So this is not an isolated incident. And that's something I want to drive home to a lot of you guys. A lot of times we'll report on a story about, some kind of psychotic leftist big government abuse, and you're like, that's just in one city. That's just San Francisco. That doesn't happen anywhere else. That's just New York. That doesn't happen anywhere else. Actually, it does. And it's not going to stop until we, the people, decide that we're going to make it stop.
I have a solution. If you, in real life, not on the internet, if real life, this stuff is happening around you, you need to move. It's time to pick it up and go somewhere else around other like-minded individuals. Because if this is happening in real life, hasn't happened to me, hasn't happened to Dad, hasn't happened to anybody that I know personally. And so if this is happening to you, it's because you're in an area where there are not people that think like you, which is valuable. You've got to have differing opinions. But at the same time, you don't want to live in an echo chamber of where you think what you say is the same thing all the time.
National socialists and anarchists into my tent so we can all have a conversation.
No, that's different.
Yeah. And that's what you just said is my dad's understanding of America.
What's that?
See, my dad's understanding of America comes from the 1950s. And that was, it doesn't, whether you're a Republican or whether you're a Democrat, we're all Americans and we all want what's best for this country. We all support the country. We support America, right? That is not the case anymore. Democrats do not, as a party platform, they do not support America. And the sooner that we come to realize this, the better off we'll be. Because the denial of that fact is not helping.
No.
As a matter of fact, it's exacerbating the problem. So when you have leftists taking over cities in America, this isn't Venezuela. This isn't Nicaragua. We have radical leftist registered Democrat voters, okay, who have taken over a city within the borders of the United States of America, and the police have just fallen back and allowed it to happen because they were told to by the Democrat mayor of the city, and the Democrat governor of the state is just allowing it to happen. Jared, please read the title and the introduction to this story from June 10th, 2020.
The title is, I Felt Violated. Police search Baltimore County house over BB gun in virtual class. Should not have brought that gun to school, boy.
Yep.
A Baltimore County family is warning other parents after they say police were called to their house over something that happened during a virtual school lesson. The incident is raising concerns over privacy and safety in the era of online learning. Okay.
No kidding.
As a Navy veteran with 4 years of active duty, Courtney Lancaster has an extensive knowledge of guns, how to use them, and how to store them. Her 11-year-old son, who owns BB guns, is a Boy Scout in 5th grade at Seneca Elementary School. He's just a very intellectual child, but he's all boy as well. He loves to be outside and play and ride his bikes and that sort of thing, Courtney told Project Baltimore. In his pursuit of becoming an Eagle Scout, Courtney says her son learned how to shoot a BB gun and an airsoft gun. He's also taken 3 levels of archery lessons. His mother says he stores his bow and guns on the wall in his bedroom. It's never been a problem until June 1st, when police pulled up outside her house.
Yep.
Quote, I had no idea what to think. I've never been in any legal trouble whatsoever. I've never had any negative encounter with law enforcement. I had no idea. I really didn't know what to think. And that's from Courtney. Mm-hmm. Courtney says that she was home with her son, who's been doing virtual school learning since the shutdown in March.
Since the pandemic went into effect.
And so Courtney says, so I answered the door. The police officer was very nice. He explained to me that he was coming to address an issue with my son's school.
All right, stop. Go ahead and put a pin in that right there. He said he was coming to address an issue with my son's school. Mm-hmm. Was he really? Because the kid is in his own bedroom.
Yeah.
In his house. So that's a lie. Now, I'm not saying she's lying. I'm saying that this home visit is perpetrated on a lie. So right now, this is where this should scare the ever-loving crap out of you guys. So what they've decided, what the state has decided, that as soon as your kid or you or whatever turn on the computer, hook up a Zoom meeting, and they start videoing the inside of your domicile, that just became the school. And per state law, it's illegal and unlawful to have a gun or any replica of a gun or a T-shirt with a picture of a gun or draw a gun on a piece of paper in a school. That was their justification. That is the justification for these police officers to show up at this house. Was there's a problem at an issue with your son's school. Go on, Jared. Courtney said.
And then he explained to me that he was here to search for weapons in my home, and I consented to let him in. And then I unfortunately
we got to put a pin in that.
Okay.
I can't let that go any farther. And then he explained that he was here to search for weapons in my home. Is it unlawful in the state of Maryland to possess firearms inside your own home?
No.
America, write this down. Right now. What have we been telling people? If you're ever involved in a shooting, right? You're involved in a self-defense incident. You walk into the car and a guy comes out and says, "Give me all your money." Pow, pow. And the police show up. I'll be happy to give you a statement in the presence of my attorney.
Yep.
That's what you say. I will answer any questions you have in the presence of my attorney. The opposite for that, or the partner phrase for that, is, I'd like to see your search warrant. Well, we don't have one. Then fornicate into a different direction. You're not coming in my house. Just because somebody with a blue uniform pulls up in your driveway and walks up to your door and knocks and says, "I'm here to search your home for weapons," does not mean that you have to let them in. That is your domicile, okay? And I know that we're so far gone right now that most people don't understand this, but if this is, you think this is cop bashing, see yourself to the door and fornicate off, all right? The United States of America is founded on the idea of individual liberty and private property rights. End of story. You cannot have individual liberty and you have no private property rights if the state, and that's who the men in blue are, they're reps of the state, if they can arbitrarily at any time they feel like it come into your house. And you're like, "Oh, well, police need to be able to go anywhere they want at any time because jeopardy and people are in jeopardy." No, there is no one's life in jeopardy here. some mealy-mouthed Karen called and complained that they saw a BB gun on this kid's Zoom channel, right? During his Zoom homeschooling. So what? Go buy some Depends, and I don't know what to tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, if they show up to your house and this, I can't even imagine. I wore the uniform for so many years. I cannot imagine being dispatched to a house because some Karen said they thought there might be a gun inside it. And I'd been like, there probably is. Okay, so what's the crime here? What crime has been committed? What information do I have that would require me or inspire me to go stand in front of a judge and swear an oath that I had this information and that I wanted the judge to give me a search warrant? You know, that's where search warrants come from, right? You
Yes.
kids. I know nobody goes to civics class anymore. No one knows anything about anything. But ladies and gentlemen, the main reason I put this in here.
You're such a curmudgeon. No one knows anything about anything. Well, if you
Seriously.
know it, it's your job to teach it.
How did it fall on
There you
me
go.
to teach the
Don't know,
entire
but there it
country
is.
12th grade civics?
It's your responsibility now.
This cannot possibly. Did you ever see
It is sad. It's very sad.
The Office when Oscar is doing the confessional cam and he
No,
goes,
it just
"Oh, it's my responsibility. This can't possibly be my responsibility."
exactly. Yeah, it just reminded me. When you did that, it reminded me of Walter from the puppet that what's his face does.
Oh,
You said nobody knows anything about anything. And I was like, damn, that sounded like Walter.
come back with a warrant.
Yep.
And here's the thing. The cop standing at the door went to the police academy and he knew he was wrong. He knew he was wrong. He knew that he didn't have justification, because if he had justification, he would have gotten a warrant. That's the whole, that's the fishing. That's the, I'm in a uniform, so I'm going to see how far I can push it. And this is when these street corner lawyers say, yeah, Paul, but if a police officer asks if he can search and you consent to the search, then it's lawful. Yeah, it is. It is lawful, because people are stupid and don't know their rights. They don't know their constitutional rights, and they don't know that just because somebody in a uniform shows up at your house and says, hey, I want to come in and search your house for weapons. For what? No, you better come back with a warrant, Jack. And I'll have my attorney. And that'd be a great time for you to have a card in your pocket with a phone number on it from someplace like U.S. Law Shield.
Yeah.
And if a cop comes to your house demanding to search your home for weapons, that's probably a great time to call your attorney at U.S. Law Shield and say, hey, this is what's going on. So, all right. Courtney said someone told them, all right, says, I consented to let him in, and then, unfortunately, I stood there and watched the police search my son's bedroom. This is such a violation. Go on, Jared. Courtney told someone, or was told.
Courtney was told someone had seen the guns in her son's bedroom during the Google Meet class on his laptop. I thought, this is outrageous. This is despicable. I had no idea what in the world this could be over. BB guns never even once entered my mind. How many 11-year-olds have BB guns?
Oh, mine did.
According to emails Courtney later exchanged with the school administrator, a screenshot was taken during the online class. The principal of Seneca Elementary was notified. Courtney says she was told the school safety officer then called police.
Nazis.
I felt violated as a parent for my child who's standing there with police officers in his room just to see the fear on his face. Courtney says the police officers were in her home for about 20 minutes and found no violations. No laws were broken and no dangers present. They left without any further action, but Courtney wasn't done. Since that day, she's written school administrators, the superintendent, and the school board demanding answers. She says the principal initially compared bringing a weapon to a virtual class to bringing a gun to school. Are you
There
serious?
you go.
Are you serious?
Yep. What have I told you?
I
Who
was
is running
just
academia?
kidding when I said that earlier.
Who is running academia? Psycho liberals. Liberal bullies are running academia.
It's crazy.
Right? So they don't like guns and they don't want you to have them. And now they're watching your children through the telescreen. If you don't know what a telescreen is, read 1984. So they're in your homes via the telescreen. And now, Jared, what did we just talk about last week about when you said that the rules for having productive virtual meetings?
Yeah.
Remove anything that might trigger anyone or any images. You know, if you have a picture of you and your family on the wall behind you, that could trigger or offend people who don't have families.
She was also told that she could not see the screenshot of her son's bedroom because it's not part of his student record. So how is the thing that triggered the police to be called not part of the student record? But whatever. It's absolutely scary to think about, Courtney said. Who are on these calls? Who do we have viewing your children and subsequently taking the screenshots that can be sent anywhere and used for any purpose?
Do you remember when we talked about the complete and total psycho crap that's going on in America with these school administrators monitoring school children's social media accounts?
Yeah.
How many times have we come to you and said, and we're like, and we pointed out the like psychotic, I don't even know how to describe it. So you have adult administrators for the public school system monitoring your child's Instagram or you know, I know kids don't do Facebook anymore, but whatever. That's psycho crap right there. Ladies and gentlemen, whether it's virtual or not, get your kids out of public schools because they are run, they're administered, they are rife with psychotic liberal bullies. And you know, when we reported that story from Pennsylvania just a week ago and said that some Karen, you know, sent the cops to a house in Pennsylvania because there was a toy gun in the virtual classroom, right? And you said, oh, okay, that's just one thing. That's just one incident, you know, no big deal, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. This is a pattern of behavior. So you got two options in America. You can either get together with like-minded individuals and take your schools back. Get rid of all these psychotic liberal fascists that are in academia. I don't know how you do that. That's the question. How do you do that? So you get rid of this superintendent and this principal, and you replace him with whom? Another socialist clone that came out of the indoctrination centers we call colleges? I don't know. Well, the one thing you can do, though, and this is how you deal with bullies. Jared, how do you deal with bullies? How do you stop a bully or discourage bullying behavior?
I don't know.
You fight.
Oh, you mean individual bullies?
Yeah. How do you stop?
Yeah. Okay.
bullies?
So like, yeah, if you actually fight back against them.
You fight back. You see, if the bully realizes that the victim is going to fight back,
They won't
they're
do
going
it anymore.
They're going to do something else. They're going to bully someone else or whatever. So I guess the main solution is if you really love your local school district and you're like, no, you don't understand, Paul. You know, I love my local school district or whatever. But there's just a few people in the district that are socialist liberal bullies. All right, well, then you need to get all the other parents together. It's your school district. You're paying for it. And you need to boot them.
Yeah, I was just dumbfounded by I was reading the rest of the story, and essentially it says that Courtney was not contacted by anybody before the police showed up. It was just direct. It was send the police, and there you go. There you go.
Yeah. And American cops, you wonder why. This is what I've been saying for a long time. American law enforcement officers need to understand who their allies are and who their enemies are, and stop making enemies out of their potential allies. You know, all these American cops are like, oh, these Antifas and these BLMs and da, 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 da. Don't run. You can't run to the taxpayer for cover when you treat the taxpayer like some kind of servant slave. And that's what this is. This is, oh, hey, slave, hey, servant, I'm coming in your house to search for guns. You better come back with a warrant there, fornicator. Phallus gobbler. Thesaurus. Yeah, put that on a t-shirt. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. Remember this. Come back with a warrant. I'll answer any questions that you have in the presence of my attorney. There, and that's Cat in the Hat, and that be that. Buster Rhyme. All right, we're going to be back on Wednesday. Google is lying to you. You're like, no way. I don't believe it. That can't possibly be true. Oh, but they are. Oh, but they are. And we have proof. We got proof. Thanks to one of our Liberty Mastermind grad program members for hipping us to this. Until then, remember, you're a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.